Yo guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm gonna be talking about the GOAT wide receiver. Top 10 wide receivers to ever grace this planet. The top 10 wide receivers ever. Well, for me, my top 10. 1. Randy Moss. The best wide receiver to ever grace this planet. Randy fucking Moss. 2. Jerry Rice. We're going to get into the first and second one later. 3. Calvin Johnson. 4. Terrell Owens. 5. Chad Johnson is my 5th. 6. Julio Jones. 7. DeAndre Hopkins on the Texans. Those are my top 7 wide receivers of all time. And if you want to go to 10, Larry Fitzgerald's 8th. Andre Johnson is 9th. 10. Jacoby Jones. Number 10 is Jacoby Jones. The slide that Jacoby Jones had can't be replaceable. Those are my top 10 favorite wide receivers. My top 10 wide receivers of all time. Now, we're getting in to what everybody wants. Even though I just wanted to, tell y'all my favorite top 10 wide receivers before we get into the nitty gritty. We ain't got to go through all the 10 on why. We need to go through the number 1 spot, and number 2 spot. These are the top 2. This stands. And this should be on everybody's list. Jerry Rice is a GOAT. He holds the most records. But let's be honest. I'm not going to sit up here and say he had it easy. And I know back in the day, it was tough in the day. It was gritty. They had way more rules. It was more aggressive. They had way more rules. Way less rules. People could hit more. It was more gritty until today. But let's be honest with ourselves. If we look at it on why he broke those records, let's look who was guarding Jerry Rice, bro. If I had like a better setup, I'll show you. But come on. Let's just look who was guarding Jerry Rice, man. I'm not going to say they're plumbers. But it seemed like he got those too easy. Because when you look at his style or how he plays, like how his release is, it ain't that good. I'm going to be honest. It's obvious on what he's going to do. He does a little step. He goes in and he's straight to the route. Now, I ain't going to say you have to do all that. But I'm just saying, if Darrelle Revis or Deion Sanders was on Jerry Rice, you know what I'm saying? That would have been guarded. Don't put Antonio Cromartie on that. That's dead. You know what? I'm going to one up. If you put Patrick Surtain on that ass, that's not even going nowhere. It was bland. But when you look at Randy Moss, that's when it looked good. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say Randy Moss, because they're kind of in the same boat. Because they kind of had the same style. Randy Moss and Jerry Rice. But this is the perfect description. Randy Moss played in the 1990s, late, middle 1990s to all the way to the 2000s. Jerry Rice played in the 80s and then the early 90s. When you look at it, Jerry Rice played in the era of straight bull fucking linebackers. He played in the era of the D line. The D line and the linebackers, like the outside linebackers, like Lawrence Taylor and them. That's what time he played. So there was really no cornerbacks, that was like really named, Maybe you could put Deion Sanders in there since he played during that. But like if we're really looking, he played in the era where it was more defense was more focused on linebackers. More linebackers and D linemen were getting credit than the cornerbacks. And there was barely any cornerbacks. The only one that was actually named was, Deion Sanders. But then when we go into Randy Moss's era, Deion Sanders. And there was way more. He played in the era where, you saw the cornerbacks starting to get more recognition. That's what era he played in. So I hold that to a standard. Now, I want to go on why this is the exact reason why Jerry Rice is not the GOAT of wide receivers. He might be the GOAT of wide receivers in stats, but in style, in the way he plays, the way he looks on the field, when we catch a ball, when we catch a ball over coverage, what do we say? We don't say he got riced, he got jerried. We say he got mossed. He got mossed. That's another reason why I put Kobe in my top 3. Well, everybody should have Kobe in the top 3. Not my top 3, but everybody should have Kobe in their top 3. Because we don't say Michael Jordan. We don't say LeBron. Well, we kind of, if you're on the LeBron. We don't say, this is why we should have Curry and Kobe in either 4 or 3. Because we either say Curry or Kobe when we shoot a mid-range or a 3. That's why I have Randy Moss at number 1. We say he got mossed. No disrespect to Jerry Rice, but let's be honest here. Let's be honest. More influential, had his own lingo, looked good on the field, played in an era where the cornerbacks were getting more recognition, more cornerbacks were out and about. You gotta give it to Randy Moss. Yes, stats mean something, but when we look at it though, when we really take a second to look at it, who's more influential? Who how can I say this? When you grew up, I guarantee you right now, you did not see one Jerry Rice highlight when you grew up. When you grew up, when playing football, when somebody caught a catch, you heard you got mossed. So when you heard he got mossed, who is this Moss dude? Why do they say who got mossed? You don't even know who Jerry Rice is. You look up who he is, that just proves he's the GOAT. Because Randy Moss created a whole wave of new wide receivers. And then, I wouldn't even say Jerry Rice, then Calvin Johnson came along, and that made a whole new wide receivers. And then Chad Johnson came along because of his, his skill. So technically, fourth is Jerry Rice for the most influential. Now, we're not going to go with the better wide receiver, because the best wide receiver is either it has to go to Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss. And y'all might say I'm crazy at this, but I honestly got Chad Johnson, not counting his stats, of course, but I got Chad Johnson over Jerry Rice. That's not crazy to say that. Because let's just say, because we're going to use Deion as an example, because Deion is the best cornerback of all time. Let's just say both of them were going up against prime Deion Sanders. Who's winning that? Chad Johnson is. He has quicker feet than Jerry Rice. He's smaller. That means he's more quicker. He's shiftier. His feet is jittier. He got quick feet. All Jerry Rice has over Deion is his height. And I feel like Deion would know what to do against somebody that tall, but he wouldn't know what to do against somebody that jitty, that like Ocho. So I'm not discrediting Jerry Rice's accomplishments now. Let's not get it twisted. Those records may never be broken in history. But let's be honest. You can say he's the GOAT, but we all know who the GOAT is. At the end of the day, the GOAT is Randy Moss. The best wide receiver that ever graced this planet is Randy Moss. It's no discussion. It's not a discussion. It's not a trick game. Randy Moss is the most influential wide receiver. And you know why he's number one? Because he might be second or third in wide receiver, in being a wide receiver, but that culture, the culture, the influential he had on wide receivers brings that third to one. So he's number one. It's not Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice might have the best wide receivers stats, but it's not Jerry Rice. It is not Jerry Rice. I don't care, but stats do matter. But we got looking at this. I guarantee you, most of y'all have Calvin Johnson over Larry Fitzgerald, even though Larry Fitzgerald is literally damn near has the third most catches in the league or something like that, or has one of the most catches in the league, and Calvin Johnson doesn't. But we still have Calvin Johnson over. So I'm a pro at this. Trust me. Randy Moss is the best wide receiver to ever grace this planet. Nobody will come close to him. I'm sorry, Jerry, but it just can't be you, man. Randy Moss is the GOAT. The GOAT. The reason why I even picked up a football to play wide receiver was because of Randy. The reason why I even started watching football was actually because of, Ray Lewis, but the reason why I started watching wide receivers is because of Randy Moss. And that's another start. The reason why there's a lot of wide receivers is probably because of Randy Moss. And you guys don't even know that. Come on, bro. I have never heard somebody say you got riced or something like that. Like, or I watched football because of Jerry Rice. I'm a wide receiver because of Jerry Rice. No, bro. We wanted to be a wide receiver because of guess who? Randy Moss and Calvin Johnson. You know what? Fuck the list. 1, Randy Moss. 2, Calvin Johnson. Those are the best wide receivers ever. 3, Jerry Rice. That's the top 3 wide receivers of all time. And again, I have to say this. I am not taking away Jerry Rice's record. Those records are never going to be broken. Ever. You cannot break them. They're going to stay. He's going to be number 1 on those records tiers for the rest of eternity. Nobody can break them unless there's a fucking robot and there's a robot human hybrid out there and he just has unlimited energy and just blows it out the water. But that's never going to happen. I'm not taking away from Jerry Rice's accomplishments, but I'm just saying, and this is my personal opinion, but Randy Moss and Calvin Johnson are the most influential and the best wide receivers. They are. There's no comparison. There's no comparison. They are. And as I'm thinking about it, like, it's true. Like, who's better than them, bro? Like, come on. But I'm going to end this video off right now. Right here. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. See y'all later. Peace out.